What is up? What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks and AP. AP, our Friday guy, although we had some Monday action too this week from you, but always here on Friday, always giving the winners and a lot of times looking for the overs. AP, how's the NBA been treating you?
Yeah, the NBA has been awesome. We were just talking spread. Like my plays on the show have been much better than my conviction plays that I'll randomly post on the sheet. I was on, I really thought the Bulls were going to win. What was that, Wednesday night? I just thought that, the Nets, they don't have enough time together, and they just looked a little not like a group. And man, they look phenomenal. Like individually, they are so skilled. And that's one of the problems with a bet like that. If these guys, Patty Mills comes off the bench and hits 5 threes, I mean, it's going to be tough to win on nights like that.
Yeah, that was a surprise too. We like the Bulls here as well. So a good win for the Nets. Tyler, quite the week we've had, right? Not only did you nail the Oklahoma City straight out win last night, right? Worried we were just running pretty good, not running pure. And then Joe Val got that late rebound, right? Because when you messaged me, I didn't think it was going to get there either, right?
Yeah, I thought he was going to get pulled there, blowing him out. I was like, he's got to hit the bench. It's like, come on and get that last couple rebounds, and he got there for us.
Yeah,
but we didn't even talk to AP about the high standards we have to live up to today after the Monday show we gave out.
Right, because AP was part of the 30-1, so right, we're keeping it going here today.
Yeah, that was insane. That was absolutely insane. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe a tough dog day, but, there's a couple options maybe.
Yeah, sometimes we only have one. Like Oklahoma City was the only one that we really liked last night. But we got a big slate tonight, kind of like that Monday card. So let's dive right in. And, boy, we have potential here, but I don't know if we're going to take advantage of it. But we're starting off with the Orlando Magic. Who are in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. The Hornets laying 11 to the Magic, total 223. Money line plus 478 for the Magic if we are interested. Tyler, I'll start with you. You've had a great job identifying, right, which underdogs to not even worry taking the point spread, taking them straight up. But Charlotte's been playing great. This is a tough one to try and take on. But what do you think about this one?
Yeah, there's zero chance I'm taking Orlando in this matchup. I mean, excuse me, Charlotte looks like they're starting to get this momentum rolling, and they're just starting to beat all the good teams too, spread. So, I mean, I think there's a very good chance they just blow this team right out of the water. Orlando can't really guard the point guard or the shooting guard position. I like Terry Rozier's props. I like him over that 20.5 points. I think he could have a big game in this spot. He's probably going to draw some easy defense against these guards, so give me that in this game. But other than that,
Terry Rozier, and was it just over on the points?
Yep, just over on the points, 20.5.
20.5. Okay. Rozier over 20.5. I will keep that in mind. Sometimes I don't get to put them on until after the show. AP, let's go straight to you. Magic catching 11. Any chance we can catch lightning in a bottle here, or is the Magic a fade tonight?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. I'm not. Definitely don't like this dog here, especially in Charlotte. The Hornets starting to play good ball, like Tyler said. I would give a slight lean to the over. And reason being, Magic, they get Jalen Suggs back. He's going to be coming off the bench tonight. Cole Anthony, obviously really helps things offensively. Just, down the stretch, against the Wizards. I mean, what a fourth quarter he had. And in DFS, RPS was high on him. I did not have him in my main build, but I was rooting along with kind of the community. This dude went from people were tilting him at halftime. I think he had 5 fantasy points at halftime, and he ended with almost 50. And most of it was done in the fourth quarter. So Cole Anthony out there against a team that kind of slacks on defense from time to time. I think there could be some easy buckets in this one, back and forth. I'm going to give a nice lean to the over here. DFS-wise, this is going to be an obvious game. Okay, here's the thing. I've been playing LaMelo for quite some time. He's been very low owned. Played him against Philly. I love playing point guards against Philly. I played him in the Bucks series, and his shot was off. The peripheral stats were there, not up to the standards that we hold him to. But what I've seen with LaMelo, if the shot is falling, the peripheral stats are following along with it. So like there's almost like a really strong positive correlation with him. And so what that tells me is like when he's hitting his shots, he's more aggressive in distributing. He's more aggressive on the boards. I like him tonight. I think he's a phenomenal play in an easy matchup where he's going to be able to dish out dimes like left and right. Like he's like the Magic provide very little resistance. And I think he's going to get some ownership tonight, which is unfortunate since I've had him in such low owned spots. But I'm very high on Ball. I'm very high on multiple pieces from this Hornets side. And I think it's a decent game to target in DFS.
All right, we'll be looking forward to that. And, of course, using the heat map if you're a member of runpuresports.com. If you're not, use the promo code GetBets to become a member. Remember, this information is brought to you by Run Pure Sports. At least go ahead and check it out and see everything that we have to offer. The Toronto Raptors are laying 10 on the road. They'll be in Detroit taking on the Pistons. Pistons coming off a 40-something point loss to Chicago in their last time out. Which was disappointing, right? Because it was coming off a couple of good performances. They upset the Spurs, they upset the Bucks, and I think they beat the Jazz, right? This is the other half of our parlay the other night. So for them to come out and just lay a complete egg, I mean, it's disappointing. I wouldn't necessarily say it's surprising. These are the ups and downs of a young team, right? I mean, Cade Cunningham, he gets 30 games at Oklahoma State to go ahead and get ready to play in the NBA, right? They don't come in as ready as they're used to, and he definitely had a tough night against Chicago. As well as who's their other big scorer? Sadiq Bey. I think they combined for 22 points total or something to that effect. So Detroit's going to be looking to bounce back tonight, catching a lot of points at home. We'll start with you, Tyler. Oh, total is 212 there. And if you like the Pistons again, the money line's 340. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, this is another one. I ain't touching this underdog. I mean, Detroit's terrible. Toronto's been surging, so there's no way we're betting against them here. Fred VanVleet's points, rebounds, and assists is 30.5. It's minus 120. I still think that's worth a shot because, I mean,
for the PRA?
He's
averaging 29 points per game over his last 11 games.
Exactly. So he could get there easily with just his points. I think he's going to get us 25 plus. And at that point, we only need 5 assists out of him. God forbid he grabs us a few rebounds. So that's my favorite play in this game. And I like the under in this one, too, because I could see them just stifling Detroit and holding them to about like 80 points.
I like Tyler's way that we're attacking the point guards tonight. AP likes LaMelo Ball as a DFS play, and Tyler's giving out props so far on Terry Rozier and now Fred VanVleet. AP, Detroit catching 10 at home. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, Detroit is the team that got it done for us. And one thing that you said, I think it was Tyler or Spread or maybe both of you on Monday, how good the Pistons have been at home and how bad they've been on the road. I mean, let's look at their last few home games: a win over the Jazz, a win over the Magic, a win over the Spurs, a somewhat close loss to the Knicks, and then a win over the Heat. So, I mean, they got some decent home wins, but man, this Toronto team, like Tyler said, is surging. They're a team that, man, they look pretty good with Siakam there at the 5. Boucher's come off and he's looked good off the bench. And then Fred VanVleet, I mean, this guy is just getting it done. We got to keep an eye on Gary Trent, and I think it's who's the other guy that is questionable here? Scotty Barnes. So if those two are back, man, I really see. I think it's a tough spot for Detroit here. If they're out, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe the Pistons could keep this somewhat close and in an ugly game cover the side here. So I don't have a strong read on it. I just like the mention and then looking at, the back data to it, like at how there's such a different team on the road and at home. So I'm not taking Toronto the side at all. I'd stay away, and I'm just not even touching the over under here.
All right, dude, I think it's Detroit or pass too. With so many games on the board, I'm going to pass. Are you passing on this game on DFS as well? Of course, if Barnes and Trent sit, right, there's probably going to be some interest. But this line tells me that they're going to play laying double digits against anyone on the road, right? Right. I mean, you have to be pretty good to be able to do that. I think they expect them to play. Of course, crazier things have happened. But assuming that they do play, how much interest do you have in this game?
So, yeah, it's going to come down to the news. If those two guys, Trent and Barnes, are out, yeah, I would have interest in Siakam and Freddie VanVleet. The other thing, too, to keep in mind if they're out and if that bumps up the Detroit side, meaning that like we think they can stay in this game, Fred VanVleet, like no one's going to play him at 10K. Look what and this was a mistake. People were asking in chat, the Utah game, when Utah sent all of their scrubs to Toronto, all the backup dudes, and we were saying in chat, jam all those backup dudes in. And I was like, you don't need a run back. It's going to be a blowout. It wasn't a blowout. And it was a close game. And Fred VanVleet had to do all of the work. And he put up 76 DraftKings points. And so, I mean, if you can play the script there where you think the Pistons are going to keep this within striking distance and Trent and Barnes are out, yeah, I think Fred VanVleet would be in tournament consideration, as is. And if those guys are out, the other guy I'd have interest in is Boucher. So off the bench. This is just a matchup where if it gets out of hand, Boucher is going to get in. He's going to get backup run and extended minutes. And we know what he can do when he gets those extended minutes. So that's kind of how I'm playing it here.
Yeah, Otter on the over. Let's go. I think we have a pretty good read on the NBA right now, coordinators and the members. That Discord has been cashing. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun this week on both sides, the bet side as well as the Run Pure Sports Daily Fantasy Information. Let's move to the next game. And Otter, I am going to answer that question about the Grizzlies. We're just going to go chronological order, but I'm going to scroll back and catch that because I think it's a great question. Phoenix Suns -5. They're in Indiana taking on the Pacers. Pacers catching 5 at home, 219.5. Pacers aren't a team that I like to back, especially against the NBA's best. I think now Phoenix is 14-4 on the road. With their most recent win, right? They won in Toronto because we got that wrong, Tyler. We haven't got every single game right this week. That was one of the few that we missed.
I wasn't a part of that.
Actually, no, we pushed.
That wasn't a part of that week. Remember, I was on the Suns. That was you and Travis on the Raptors that day.
You're right. So keep going with Tyler's picks. The kid is on fire right now. The gif of the guy just walking.
We almost had a fight at the end of the game between Booker and the mascot too. That was
what was up with that, man?
I don't know, but he changed his Twitter picture to the Raptors mascot waiting for him on the bench.
Yeah, I saw that. That was just weird. And then I listened to the Athletic NBA podcast. Boy, that's really a fluff podcast compared to some of the other ones you get. But they were talking about they were pretty upset that Toronto caved and kicked their mascot out, especially with no fans. That was all they had for support. But now the Suns are -5. We'll see if they get in fights with the Pacers mascot. I don't know what the Pacers mascot is. Do either of you?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know what runs around.
But that seems like such a thing that,
I can look it up really quick.
Canadian thing. They kicked their mascot out? Oh,
yeah.
Come on, Canada.
Because Booker complained. Yeah. So that was that's what I didn't get any actual information to break down these games on that podcast, but I did hear about that.
The Pacers have it looks like almost like a tiger. It's like a blue tiger.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I don't think I've ever
Hopefully
seen
he
it
can keep
like
pace with the Indy 500. Yeah. All right, but basically I can't take the Pacers. I don't care if they're at home. I don't care if they're catching points. To me, it's Phoenix or pass. I haven't made a play on this game yet. My first thing is I kind of scratched it off, but of course we'll go back to them right before the show to do all the prep. But on my original, I'm going through this morning on the ones I was going to spend time on. This wasn't one of them. Am I missing something here, Tyler? Is there some great value in this game? Is this line right? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I think the line's about right. I think Phoenix could cover this, though. I think it is blowout potential, because we know how good Phoenix is on the road. I mean, they could walk in here, Chris Paul could run that pick and roll with Ayton, and they could just eat this front court up. Mm-hmm. I think Devin Booker could also have a big game, because who are they really going to put on him? LeVert? I don't think he's really going to be able to stop him.
Probably the Holiday.
Yeah, he's not really much of a very good defender. So I think
he's all right, but
I think he'll be able to eat him up, though.
Yeah.
So you can get Devin Booker 25 plus and then win the game at plus 210.
Oh, that's better than laying the 5.
Yeah, I like that way better than laying the 5. So that's gonna be my play in this game.
All right, and what's the plus money on that one?
Plus 210.
All right, guys, plus 210, and that's on FanDuel, right?
Yep.
Booker 25 plus 210 on FanDuel. That's Tyler's play. AP, how are you approaching this one?
Yeah, I'm pretty much off of this game completely. I try to avoid both of these teams. I don't like, especially in DFS. Like I don't like playing players against the Suns and the Pacers. Man, I don't like. I just don't have a good read on this team. Just don't like, and it's not killing me. Like avoiding them is not killing me at all. So I'm very content with just moving off this game. We have a ton of other good spots on the slate don't have a lean or anything on the side, and don't have a lean on the total.
And isn't that the great thing about these big slates, though, too, is like rather than forcing a play on a tough game such as this, where I feel the book did a pretty good job. My numbers came pretty close to this. Okay, let's be honest. My numbers are always going to tell me to fade the Pacers, but you can't do it every night. Friday night home teams are always something tough. But it's funny, AP, what something you said. You said, I don't have a read on this Pacers team. I don't think anybody does, including Coach Rick Carlisle, right? I mean, what a disappointment this season has been. And, if he can't figure it out, like, how are we supposed to be able to? The Boston Celtics are catching now. It was 4 earlier, 3.5 today. The Celtics taking a little money. I agree with the market there. 76ers laying 3.5 at home. Total is 207. All right, I got a breakdown on this one. Enough hedging, enough hemming and hawing. I actually like a side this game, and I like the Boston Celtics. They've been playing a lot better as of late. They've won 3 in a row, 2 of them against the Pacers, the aforementioned Pacers that we're not high on. But a win's a win, especially when you're at a team that's in the position that Boston's in, that's really been struggling all year to find this type of momentum. They won their most recent one against Indiana, 119-100. So it was a really nice, really easy win. And I thought the team was getting some confidence. I think we were on that game. I can't remember. I know I watched it, and I thought that the Celtics looked pretty good. And I put that in some of my notes that this was the most cohesive I had seen them look all year. I still think they have a little issue with Schrader playing for stats sometimes. And I think that Ime Udoka is having problems on how to do that because he's definitely a drop-off, but I don't know if he's always executing what they want him to run. One thing about Schrader, when he gets by his man, he's not really looking for his teammates, right? He's looking to score. And that's not just a thing of the contract. He's always been that way, going back to his time with the Atlanta Hawks. But I still like the Celtics here. And you know what the crux of this handicap is going to come down to? Al Horford, in his first stint with the Celtics, was very good against Joel Embiid. Right, he was probably maybe the best at shutting down Embiid, and that's why the Celtics always gave the Sixers problems. Now he's back in a Celtics uniform, a little older, definitely lost some quickness, still got the veteran guile, but Embiid's been getting better since that time, right? But if Horford can keep it up, really give him some problems, I think the Sixers offense becomes really one-dimensional, where the Celtics have multiple ways to score, Tatum, Brown, right? Even Robert Williams, I think, can give Embiid some different looks. I like the Celtics here, +4. Tyler, break down the game and give me a quick recap of my handicap.
Yeah, I mean, I like your handicap. My only thing is Smart being out for the Celtics spread. We talked about this before. It's kind of the glue of that team. And they beat up on the Pacers, who, just like you said, we're not high on. Mm-hmm. I think his 76ers team starting to turn it around and starting to climb up the standings. Embiid's playing out of his mind. He needs to put up 30 tonight to break the most 30-point records in a row by a 76er ever. He's tied with AI and Wilt. So I hit his points probably 27.5 last night. It's up to 29.5. I would still take it because he's got to get, he's still under that 30 number. So he's got to get there to break that record. And you can even take him 30 plus and then win it plus 230. I think they're going to win this game. This game's in Philly. So give me the 76ers.
All right, AP, I made a point about Boston winning 3 in a row. Tyler brings up a good point. Sixers have been playing well, too. Winners of 6 of their last 7. I like Boston. He likes the Sixers. Break the tie.
Yeah, I am good. So I think it's going to be a close game. So these two teams, they're 1-1, split the series so far. And yeah, Horford did a good job on Embiid. The last time they played, I think limited them like around 3 for 17. But yeah, Smart being out is massive, I think, for the Celtics team. So I'm going to side with Tyler. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm staying away from the side here. I think it's going to come down to the last few shots, but I think Philly gets the win here at home. I'm off this game DFS wise. The one thing I'll say is like Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown. You can always play these guys in DFS, one or the other. They always have the ability to break a slate, put up a monster number. I don't think you want to pair them, especially in this type of matchup. My lean would be Brown.
Interesting. Just I like I was thinking I was going to lean Tatum, but let us know why.
I mean, it's just because my rule that I think Philly has been worse against opposing guards. And so that's just, I think the ball, I think, Brown, Schroeder, I think those are going to be the guys, bringing the ball up the court, creating the offense. And but Tatum can do that too. I think the matchup maybe with Tobias and I guess, Thibault, he's a good defender too. it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be playing these guys. I'm just saying in tournaments, what you do is you play one or the other. And I'm not going to play Embiid here. I like what you said about Al Horford. DFS, I mean, Al Horford, he's 5'2", and he's shown, like, I don't normally play him ever, but, you know, he's 5'2", especially with Bobby Williams in there. But, I mean, I guess there's worse plays. He's going to be playing a ton, keeping Embiid in check. But
I wouldn't be surprised if they mirrored
yeah.
minutes, right? Like if Udoka
Yeah.
pulled Horford the second that Embiid went out, and the second he sees Embiid walk towards that bench, he taps on Horford's shoulder and sends him back, right? So maybe an uptick for minutes there tonight for Horford. Good point there.
Yeah. So I'm going to be off of it. And I mean, it may be more of a game to watch. But honestly, like, what's your guys' opinion? Like, the 76ers, it's just like, let's give Joel Embiid the ball, let him do his thing. And then the Celtics, it's like, let's give Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown the ball, let them do their thing, play this, ISO type ball. At least with Smart out of the lineup. I think that's typically what we see. But I don't know. I think it's kind of boring basketball right now. And but I'm sure I'll be watching.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it on. Tyler, close game. Do you think we can arb this one?
You could definitely arb this one.
Okay.
These teams always go on runs where one team grabs a lead about 10 points.
Yeah.
And then we think the game's over, and then we blink, and they're tied up going with like 3 minutes to go in the fourth.
All right. Well, I like the Celtics, but maybe I will try and do that as well because I can start. What do I start with? Plus 146 right now. That's really not that bad to just start with the plus 146 position, right? And then just hope they get a lead, and I can just bring it back here, a little higher there. Let's check on the chat real quick. They gave us the answer. His name was Pacers Blue Panther Boomer. So thank you to Brad and Old Blue. EJV says, did I miss any of Tyler's upset specials yet? Nope, that you're still waiting for that. And Otter, right? I don't think anyone can blame him for typing this. I'm going to wait a few weeks to start to back the Celtics. They're weird. Yeah, they definitely are. I'd say both teams are better than what their record is, but especially Boston, right? 21-21. Disappointed and think they were 18-21 at the beginning of this week, right? So even worse. Hopefully they can keep it going if you are a Celtics fan. This is a fun one, and I haven't got a spot on this one either because I don't know what to make with these two teams coming off the performances, right? Golden State Warriors plus 3.5, right? I should have had more conviction in the Bucks there, Tyler, right? We all lean that way, right? We should have smashed that, but hindsight's 2020. And the Bulls, right, was one that, man, glad we didn't have the conviction because we just kind of leaned towards Chicago, right, in that Nets matchup. But nobody made it a best bet or had some fun with it. So now two teams really coming off bad losses. Two teams that are, I think, currently maybe the Suns overtook the Warriors, but right at the top of the standings on their respective conferences. This should be a great game. Of course, no Draymond there. For the Warriors is rough and no Clay, but I mean, we've been capping this team all year without Clay. Not a big deal to me there. I actually, for my handicapping, I feel like I have a better feel for the team without Clay. Iguodala and Porter will be playing. No Caruso there for the Bulls, who I think means a lot in this matchup. Oh, and my guy Gary Payton too is out. I like how he's not a junior. Let's just go number 2. Tyler, what are your thoughts on the Bulls and the Warriors? This is a tough one. I don't have a side yet.
Give me the Bulls.
Okay,
I think the Warriors are reeling. They're missing Draymond, which is big, but then they're trying to integrate Clay, and now he's going to sit. So it's just basically back to Steph and Jordan pulling these guys. It's also a back-to-back. They just played that game last night, and they got obliterated. And you got to figure Chicago wants to come back and win this game at home after what just happened to them. I think Vucevic is going to just eat this front court up. I mean, we've seen Jaren Jackson go for a double-double against his front court the other day. And we've seen what Giannis did to him yesterday. So could definitely see Vucevic putting up like a nice 20-something and 15. So like his points plus rebounds over and like his points over. Mm-hmm. And then also DeMar DeRozan, because they ain't going to stop anybody from getting in the paint. He's going to get all the looks he wants. So over 24.5 points on him too.
All right. So you like over for DeRozan and Vucevic. And of course that supports your side of the Bulls. AP, you made a pretty good case there for Chicago. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm on Chicago as well. I mean, if you just look at the game against the Nets, look, they shot 17 for 32 from 3-point range, 57%. from the field. I mean, the Nets I'm talking about, they
Yeah.
could not miss. It's just one of those games where they poured it on. I mean, this game was tied at like 77 at some point in the third, and Patty Mills just went nuts. Everyone was hitting shots, and if you're not countering with production on the offensive end, and if you're creating a few sloppy turnovers, which they did, it's just there's very little you can do. With that said, I mean, man, I think the Bulls easily bounce back here against a Warriors squad that's just, on a road trip right now, coming off a really embarrassing loss. Now they're sitting a bunch of different players. Obviously, Clay out on a back-to-back. Draymond still that key piece. Him being out is huge here. So while I think this game is a little bit more competitive, I think the Bulls get it done here. Slight lean on the side, and maybe a slight lean on the over, but I don't feel too good about it.
All right, you guys like the Bulls. I think you've talked me into it. Last point there. Golden State, this is straight up, 18-3 at home, 12-8 on the road now following that loss to Milwaukee. So, at home, don't back them. Hey, on road, these teams are catching them. So I think you guys made some great points there and might have talked me into a Bulls bet. Otter says, I agree. They're Golden State looking vulnerable. The game stack is juicy, but expensive. What do you think of stacking this game?
No, I mean, we got a much better game to stack tonight.
Okay.
Two teams that love to run with pace. One of them is Spread's team, and another team that literally plays zero defense. Like if you watch this Rocket, we're going to get to that game. But
all right, let me jump on this one here. Viral, always watching, supporting, appreciate you supporting the show. He says, Spread, I hear Paul may be out for the Suns. Does that change the cap? So I'm going off Basketball Monster. Obviously, I don't keep Twitter open while I'm doing the show. Have any of you guys seen anything about him being out? Because in my handicap, and I refreshed it right when I saw the comment, it shows him playing.
Yeah, I see off injury report.
Yeah. So right now we're expecting him to play, but yes, obviously that would be huge if the Suns don't play. But if that news comes out, the line's going to change, and then there become -2 or -1, and it might even be a better spot to back Phoenix. So as of right now, I'd expect him to play Viral, but we'll keep an eye on that because sometimes I just don't think things are happening. And then they end up doing like that Cam Reddish trade. I really was like, no, they wouldn't have done that. Speaking of Cam Reddish, the Atlanta Hawks, the team that traded him away for a first-round pick and Kevin Knox, who I actually thought was going to be good. I was definitely wrong on that. They are catching 4.5 in Miami, taking on a Heat team that just beat them in Atlanta a couple nights ago because that was my play. We were on it. They were in Atlanta, and the Heat were catching 4, but they won straight up. Or 3 or 2, somewhere around there, depending on what time you got. I think it was 4 when I wrote the article in the morning, and it closed around 2. I don't see any reason why the same result doesn't happen again, Tyler. I haven't played it yet because we get worried when these things seem too easy, right? We get worried. Now, obviously, they flipped the line 8 points, but I was happy with the money line last time. So to me, I'm like, okay, I like the money line. You had the 3 points for the home court. I like it here again. I'll go ahead and take it. But I wanted to talk to you guys because I'm like, am I missing something? Is somebody out? Is somebody coming back? Talk to me about the Heat and the Hawks, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another spot where you just don't overthink it. You just take the Heat again.
Right.
I think it's a good matchup for them. They're going to beat up his team again. They still don't have Clint Capella, so they're going to eat whatever they want inside. And I see Jimmy Butler's listed with a questionable tag. So if we don't hit this number now, Spread, and he's announced in, this number is going to be like 6 or 7. So I think we got to hit him now.
Wow. Yeah, that would be big for the Heat. So for DFS, we got to wait for the news because that changes everything. AP, what are your thoughts on this game?
Fred, this guy that's been playing center for the Heat, Yurtseven.
Oh, Omar Yurtseven.
His points, rebounds, and assists are 24.5. Last game, he had 13, 10, and 6. The game before that, 7, 16, and 8. 14, 16, and 4. 5, 17, and 2. 22, and 16. Give me that over 24.5.
All right. And you're not going to, if they're members of Run Pure Sports, you're not going to have to give Yurt7 an instruction. He's GOAT7 in the cores, right? Really popular play, right?
You could take him double when Miami wins at plus 230 here.
I like that a lot. What are your thoughts, AP?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be he's priced up, so he's going to go a little bit overlooked tonight for sure. But, yeah, I like that call. So, yeah, you got to hit I think this is a really easy game as well. Take the Heat here. The Hawks have just been terrible on the road. What are they, 9-13? So Heat have been much better at home. Take the Heat here. Take these points before, like Tyler said, before Jimmy Butler is ruled in. He's still questionable. I think. Let me look. I think right. We've seen like Jimmy come off these right ankle sprains, come and just play like full minutes. But this one seems to be lingering. It's like, man. But yeah, I think there's a good chance he plays tonight, and if he does, absolute smash spot. So I'm with Tyler on this one.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why would they rush him back? They're doing great without him, And because I wrote about this game when they played in Atlanta, and I said, okay, so Atlanta, they'd lost, and now that's 11-15. At the time, it was 10-14 of their last games, right? And they could use the excuse, well, we've had all these people out, right? But then you look at Miami, they're dealing with the same thing. They've been missing Bam. They've been missing Jimmy for a long time. They're still winning, keeping competitive, at least treading water, right? Atlanta is completely falling apart without these other people. So obviously, the Heat are better coached. They have, more of a winning culture established there. Atlanta, a team, I talked about it when we broke this game down last time. They kind of talked about not caring about the regular season. No. You guys aren't ready for that yet. You made the Eastern Conference Finals once, and I will say it again, until this team turns it around and shows me something in the regular season, like they actually did around this point last year. Last year, it took their coach getting fired for it to happen, though. So what are they going to have to do? I don't know if trading Cam Reddish really shakes things up. And guys, you know what? This was a nice, relaxing afternoon, right? Just no pressure at all, giving out winners. The pressure's on now because our guy Eric Chang, a great supporter of the show, great friend of the show, always in here helping us out, says, good afternoon, fellas. It's my birthday today. Let's cash some tickets. I don't know, guys. Now the pressure's on. We got to make sure we come through for Eric with these winning picks. We just did the Atlanta Hawks. The Cleveland Cavaliers, here's another favorite that I like. They're playing the Spurs. The Spurs have lost 4 in a row in 8 of their last 9. Now, to be fair, they were decimated, right? We talked about that. They're starting to get people back. Fun fact, Tyler, I think it was only the 7th person since 1987 to have a 30-point triple-double and not have a turnover, and that was DeJounte Murray. And the Spurs lost at home to the Rockets, 128-24. We liked the Rockets there, but it was fairly easy because we were fading them. The Spurs, the first game home on a road trip, right? Remember, I kept saying that when Hoop was on because that was a situation over and over again. Now they've been home for a little while, coming off a stinging loss. I still like Cleveland here, but I think the Spurs are going to be a little more formidable. How are you approaching this one, Tyler?
Yeah, I can see the Spurs fighting in this game. I just think the Cavs are the better team, though.
Oh, they're much better. I think
they're going to go down there. Their front court's just going to be able to handle Podol and Drew Eubanks and these guys. They're just going to beat them up down low. That Jared Allen double-double in Cleveland win is plus 160 spread. I'll be all over that. I think he's good for 10 points on putbacks and alley-oops. And, of course, he's going to grab the rebounds for us against his front court. So I think they're going to just do enough to win the game. They should shoot a very high percentage because they should just feast at the rim. And we've seen Garland post a monster triple-double in his last game, so he could put up another big game here.
All right. That's a great breakdown, Tyler. If you did like that breakdown, remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. AP. So Podol's someone that, in my mind, I'm always thinking is a good defender. But when we're on the show, right, Tyler's attacking him with props. You guys are attacking him with DFS. How do you feel about Podol? How do you feel about this game? Like, is Jared Allen someone we're looking towards tonight when we're looking to build this lineup?
Yeah, center is really interesting tonight. Jared Allen's going to get lost in the mix. He's priced up. I like what Tyler had to say there. I think he's a phenomenal tournament play. The other thing, too, in DFS, just to keep in mind, like Poeltl against this big Cavaliers team is going to have to play a ton of minutes. So minutes is everything in DFS. So, I mean, it's going to be more opportunities for rebounds. So I think even Poeltl, while I don't think he has the upside as like a guy like Jared Allen or even Evan Mobley, he's cheaper. He's going to be in play here. But I like the Allen call. I was on Garland against Utah, and I was also on Jared Allen. I thought, I thought since Utah had no bigs, I thought Allen was just going to absolutely eat. But I think it was Mobley that they got it done. So, yeah, Mobley had 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 15 points against Utah. A pretty nice stat line there. Garland is just the guy. So I love, like, this Spurs team. I mean, they're not that good defensively either. They play with pace. DeJounte Murray is a good defender single-handedly, but Garland's been playing at such a high level. I think he's able to get it done here. And I think you could go to like Evan Mobley. I wouldn't even be surprised if like Kevin Love came off the bench and like had a good game. I think the Cavs have too many pieces here to be able to get it done against the Spurs team, and I got to back the Cavs here tonight.
All right. Yeah, we're all on the Cavs. Hopefully we don't get some Friday night hijinks, right, with the home team coming to play and the wild partying crowd in San Antonio. The Houston Rockets are catching 5. They were 5.5 earlier. They've taken a little money. I agree with the call there. They're playing my Sacramento Kings -5. And one thing we know about teams that aren't good, they aren't good for a reason. A lot of that times it's because they can't handle success. I'm watching right now. They've been replaying it for 2 days on NBA TV, and I'm loving it because, right, it's watching my hometown team beat the Lakers. I have no problems with this being replayed on TV, but I worried the Kings coming here a little overconfident, a little flat. I'm looking here to take the Rockets. The Rockets have been tough, but, we talk about, certain guys, right? Draymond with the Warriors, Marcus Smart with the Celtics, right? As players, we really look in the handicap. Eric Gordon is one of those guys for me, and you think, oh, it's because he scored 31 in the win over San Antonio. Yes, that helped, but really what I like out there is his defense and veteran leadership. I think that he really keys the defense, and I think he gives them some level of accountability on the floor. They get yelled at by their coach all the time, right? But when they got the older veteran guy who's played in these great series with the Warriors, right, actually been part of a winning franchise, I think they do listen. I think he helps a lot, and he brings up the defensive intensity. I think the Rockets can keep it close here tonight, Tyler. I'm going to take the points. What are your thoughts?
I'm not taking the points. Give me the money line. They're beating this Kings team spread. Kings off a big win. Wood should eat against his front court. I see Damian Jones is still out. The other 2 centers are still questionable. One of them's probably not playing. Jalen Green's been playing pretty well. Kevin Porter's been playing pretty well. Neither of them are going to get defended. Maybe one of them draws Halliburton, who's a pretty good defender. So that's the only problem.
But he hasn't been as good.
Yeah, that's
you
the
talk about using your priors. He's not as good this year.
Him next to Fox just doesn't work. So
Doesn't.
I think he knows that, and you see it affect his defense. So give me Houston here to win this game spread. I think you're going to win it outright.
Yeah, I'd like taking the
And your
points, but
guys
you take
back
it one
tonight.
step forward. Şengün's going to play, huh? I saw he was questionable when I handicapped it this
Off
morning.
the injury report.
Oh, good. Because you know what I said to my buddy we were working out this morning? I said, I'm just a crazy NBA fan because I'm actually looking forward to this just for the basketball. The Rockets have so many creative scorers, right, that you mentioned. Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., like even though they might not be winning players, they do great highlights, really fun to watch. Same with the Kings. I mean, they don't win, but Fox is so much fun, and these guys do a lot of exciting things, and they just don't defend. So it's almost like watching one of those low-level UFC matches, Tyler, where the guys just throw bombs on each other because neither know how to block a punch or stuff a takedown. That's how I think it's going to be tonight. I was taking the points. Tyler took it one step further. AP, you want to join us or maybe bring us back to earth and let us know why the Kings are the right side?
I mean, call me crazy. I kind of like the overs here. It's a big number.
I don't think you're crazy at all.
I mean, it's a big number, but this game, there's going to be no defense played. It's going to be back and forth, easy buckets in the paint. When it comes to DFS, here's like the one risk. So while the game environment is going to be phenomenal, look at this Rockets rotation. They're running out 1, 2, 3, 4. They're running out like 9 or 10 guys sometimes, all playing decent minutes. Right. Only Eric Gordon and Christian Wood played over 30 minutes last game in a close, high pace, high total game against the Spurs. And Wood played 32, Gordon played 32, and then they just kind of mixed and matched based on matchups. And then we know, like spread, this this Kings rotation, while a little bit better, Fox, Barnes, and Halliburton are typically getting pretty strong minutes. Everyone else, it's kind of mixed in there. Marvin Bagley, 30. Chimezie Metu, 22, and was very efficient, those 22. He started last game with Marvin Bagley, which is interesting. So Gentry's obviously playing around with the rotations there, it seems like.
Yeah, and I think he's trying to make
what are they saying locally?
In their minutes.
Are they trying to just see kind of what works? Because when I break these games down, I never understand the rotations here. But when it comes to stacking this game up, I do think you want pieces. It's just don't be surprised if you get the wrong pieces. So The guys I feel most confident in and that are going to be higher owned, Christian Wood, fair price tag on DK, and then Tyrese Halliburton on the Kings side. If you start your lineups with those two guys, you're going to have what I think is the two safer pieces from each side. Eric Gordon, so he's going to get some ownership tonight, but look, like he put up 43 DraftKings points, 31 of those were off of real points. He was like literally like 8 for 9 or something from 3-point range. I mean, the dude could not miss. 6 for 7 from 3-point range, 9 for 10 from the field. The dude could not miss. So expect some regression there. The other piece I don't mind on the Rockets is Jalen Green, just because he's cheap. He's 4.8, but he's going to see right around 30 minutes. And then I want to play Kevin Porter, but man, he was like, he was kind of sloppy with the ball a little bit against the Spurs. Like he should have had more turnovers there than what he actually did. He only had 3, but I really don't have a like if he gets going, I bet he gets the minutes and he could be a good play. I just don't have the read on it because they're bringing in KJ Martin, they're bringing in Josh Christopher, Garrison Matthews, and then we got Sengun back. Like so, gosh, they could definitely run 10 guys out tonight. So be careful in DFS. It's a good game to target. Just mind the rotations is how I'd call it.
And I think that's what happens when you're developing team. Yeah, go ahead.
This total's 240, but the prop market does not reflect that total being that high. Because everyone's points total is set normally what it is when the game's like 220. Christian Wood, 19.5. Jalen Green, 14.5. Eric Gordon, 14.5. KPJ, 13.5. De'Aaron Fox, 23. Halliburton, 16. Barnes, 15. Bagley, 11. Those are all the normal numbers they've been set at the last few games. And now the total's inflated by like 20 to 30 points. I think we could find some good value on those guys tonight.
Yeah, it's almost like going to a buffet. Which one do we want?
Yeah, it's just which one do you want?
Played, right? Yep. Especially when you're at the Rocket side. Those all sounded about 2 points too low. I mean, starting with Wood, I would put him at 21, 22, right? Green is 16, 17. Gordon, maybe a little bit of regression, but coming off a 31.9 and he's only got to get 14.5. Boy, I really like that. So, all right, interesting way to approach the game. And that was Tyler's first upset special for those keeping score at home. The Dallas Mavericks head to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. What a win last night. Tyler, I was a little worried there going into the fourth. Timberwolves were playing them tough, man. But, boy, this team finds a way to win. John Conchar, he's talking about this slate smells like some random dude who's going to blow up today. I mean, last night that was John Conchar's night. I don't know what his ownership was. 15 points, 17 boards, unbelievable. And he hit the 3. It may not have sealed the game, but it sealed the cover for me. Very happy about that. Tyler, hey, a streak can only end once, but you can ride it, right? You can get 4 or 5 wins before it ends. I'm going to ride the streak till this thing falls off. I've been on the Grizzlies before. I'm going to be on them again tonight. What are your thoughts?
I don't hate it. My only worry is when you look at this number, it screams trap to me. And
the only worry would be the fatigue, maybe, right? Because that was a fast-paced game last night.
The fatigue in Dallas, outside of that Knicks game they just lost, they were another team that was just casually just rolling along, stomping teams on the way through. So it's like maybe they had one hiccup and they bounce back right here and pick up the W and upset Memphis. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, I'm going to stay away from this game. That total at 217, I think might be a bit too low because I think Memphis is going to push this pace. So I like that over here.
Like the over. And of course, Dylan Brooks is one that I would have said, right? In my head, he was going to be in that smart Draymond category of guys that really, really matter. But they've been winning without him. So, hey, what do I know there? I still think he's a great player, but credit to the team for getting it done. AP, are you going to ride this streak with me? How are you approaching the Memphis Grizzlies and Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Like Memphis, they've been playing so good. Let me pull up the Maverick stuff. So they just lost to the Knicks. I mean, before that, they were looking really good. With Luka, I just hate betting against him. Like if he shows up and has a big game, I could say there's something suspicious about the spread here. Is all I'm going to say. I could see Luka on a Friday night, in Memphis, kind of spoiling the fun for this team. So I'm going to side the Mavericks here. I'll just be a little bit different, but it's really hard, to not like acknowledge how good the Grizzlies are playing right now too. John Morant, Desmond Bane, all of these guys. It's just like if they're going to rely on another random guy to show up and have a monster night, I think it's going to be tough to get the win here against the Mavs. So I'm going to say the Mavericks get it done in an upset.
Well, yeah, hey, and maybe they are flying under the radar, right? Because the Grizzlies are taking the headlines with the 12 in a row. I think the Mavericks won 6 out of the last 7, right? So it's not like they're not playing poorly, right? Either they're finally getting things going, and they're doing things without a KP's, right? Porzingis, I don't think he's played in any of those games. He's been out for a while. The team's still getting it done. That doesn't surprise me. He's really, to me, a liability on the defensive end. He never got back to being that guy he was on the Knicks, where he was a great shot blocker as well as a great scorer. Kind of a one-dimensional guy right now. And with Luka and the rest of those guys, they're able to absorb his scoring there. So, yeah, I don't mind the Mavericks pick. It's just when the team's streaking like this and they've been, paying the bills and, helping out, padding the bank account, I'm just going to keep riding them. And then, the day they lose, they lose. But for right now, just -3, I am going to take it. Otter says, I'm not going to bet this and then kick myself when the Mavs win comfortably, right? That's what – welcome to be an NBA bettor, right? Because you can't bet all the games, and there's nothing worse when you zero in on a game and then your other leans all come through. So let's make sure we give them the best ones here, the best bets, because it's Eric Chang's birthday. So we got to give him that birthday present. Tyler, you've been on fire. I'm going to start with you. Go ahead and give out some best bets for everybody.
The first 2 we're going to roll with our props. It's going to be Omar Yurtseven over 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And then Fred VanVleet's over just his points plus rebounds over 30.5. Or no, points plus assists, not points plus rebounds, points plus assists.
And what was the Yurtseven number?
24.5.
I put 27.5.
Yep.
All right. So
and then for anyone that can't get prop markets, I think that Houston does get the upset tonight, plus 176. Give me that money on.
I like that. All right.
And then if you want the player performance double in that game, Wood double and Houston win plus 400.
All right. Wood double and Houston wins is how much?
Plus 400.
All right, AP, while I'm typing these in, go ahead and give out your best bet.
I'm gonna say overs in this Rockets game. I think 239. Is that right? Where it's at? I know it's 238 when it earlier today, but let me look real quick. 239.5. I think we get over 240 here. Big number. Usually people don't like to bet overs when they're that high. I like it because a lot of times it hits. It seems like so. The pace is going to be phenomenal here. No defense played. Hopefully it stays phenomenal throughout the pace. The one thing that always worries me with a spread this high is like if they come out and they're not shooting good, or just a bunch of offensive turnovers, or just it turns into one sloppy quarter, that can really hurt things. But I don't think that's going to happen here. I think it's going to be a very high scoring game.
All right, so he's got Houston over 239.5 with the Kings. Two bad defenses there. I am in with you there as well. Might have a little different way to play it, but we'll save that for the Run Pure Bet subscribers. Let me throw this on the screen. Here are the best bets. I'm giving out the Heat. I'm going back to that well. I'm going to fade the Hawks until they get things together. I know they need a shakeup. I don't know if trading Cam Reddish for a first-round pick is going to do it. Obviously maybe acquiring assets to go ahead and get a game changer. The team's been disappointing. I know the coach has been disappointed. The Heat's not a team that you want to kind of roll in against. Obviously, they should have everything, on point, but the Heat's not a team that I'm really worried about on not really showing up, right, or taking a team for advantage or looking past them. Pat Riley and Spoelstra have really instilled in them that they need to do this. They used to be bad on the road. They're getting much better, and they've always been good at home. Give me the Miami Heat -4.5. AP, I'm going to leave the best bets up on the screen while you let everyone know all the great content that Run Pure Sports will be providing this weekend.
Yeah, we got NFL wild card weekend. I know you guys are probably doing a show here soon on that, or
that's right.
Already did one. Yeah,
we're going to do it here in a couple minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure everyone tunes in for that. But full content for the Saturday and Sunday slate. MMA, I believe, is back. NBA each and every night, all throughout the weekend. We don't take any slates off over here. Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah.
That's right. And also, if you are a member, you get access to AP's heat map. He didn't want to tout it. I'll go ahead and do it for him. It's just a great tool to use when you're filling out your lineup, right? Gives you a great place to start. And where it's really helpful, if you're landing in a certain range, sometimes for me, especially, not being a DFS professional, not sure where to land, gives me a game-by-game look. If I only got 5,500 left, where should I be looking to? Really take advantage of that heat map if you are a member. Tyler, when are we going to be back? What time are we doing this second show? I know a lot of people are going to watch it, because it'll be going the same time as Hardwood. A lot of people will be watching it on tape. But when are we going to do it so they'll know to check it? Probably tomorrow morning before the game's going.
You want to take like a quick 10, 15-minute break? We'll jump right back on like 4:45, 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
and we'll bust it out.
Yeah, we'll go for then. Yeah.
Let me give the people one little nugget. So I like this Rockets and Kings over, okay? Mm-hmm. And I want to stack it up, okay? So this is for if you're a SaberSim member, here's what you do. You can create a rule that says I only want this many people, no more than this many people from a team. I think you set that at maybe 2 to 3 max from each team, maybe even 2. Say I don't want any more than 2 Rockets together in my lineups. And I don't want any more than 2 Kings in my lineups, but you create a third rule that says 2 players at least from this game, 2 or 3, need to be in every single lineup I make tonight. So what you're doing is you're forcing in players from both sides. You're making sure that every single lineup you have has exposure to this game, but you're not overstacking it. So that's where I think the problem could be, and what I think people are going to do tonight is play too many pieces maybe from each side. And when you look at these rotations, I think the optimal lineup tonight will probably have maybe 2 players from one side and 1 from the other, and then elite plays throughout the other parts of the slate since it is a larger slate. So that's my take on it tonight for SaberSim members. Use those rules, and I think it's going to help you out tonight.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will be back, of course, at 3:30 Eastern on Monday. Looking forward to that show. But, of course, Run Pure Bets will have you covered with content throughout the weekend. Like I said, Tyler's show and I will be done in about an hour. It'll be there for you tomorrow morning. You can catch it before these games kick off. And then, of course, Keg, if you're not already a member, you can go ahead and join the Keg's livecast party, and he's going to be going live Saturday, Sunday, and for Monday Night Football, the first wild card game ever. So much fun going on in the world of sports. Make sure you become a member of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets to take advantage of that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Hit that like on the way out and run pure.